We're here. We're fucking here, you guys. I'm not even gonna be. It's the midweek war. You know why you're here. We know why we're here. It's fucking Ultima Lucha. First of all, where the fuck is season 2? I want it now. I want it in my face. I want it in my eye holes. I want it in my ear holes. I want it in my mouth holes. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but Lucha Underground, you'll fucking do it with me. I'm Mad Mike. You know that. It says it right here. It says it right here. I'm Mad Mike. With me is Eamon. Eamon, the voice of Inspire Pro. How are you, sir?
I'm so happy.
Eamon, how many buckets of tears and semen exuded from your body during Ultima Lucha? Because for me, I had it at about 18 pints.
To be honest, I was very still the whole time. I was so I was so focused on everything. Yeah, it was an experience. It was such a great experience.
Okay. Eamon, I know we're gonna have many more words about Lucha, about Ultima Lucha. What is your one word for Ultima Lucha?
It is definitely ultimate. It is an ultimate event. So I think it's very fitting.
Okay. My one word, legend. Wait for it. And I hope you're not in the back of Dario Cueto's truck being getting eaten out by Metanza because it's dairy. Legendary. All right. Since this is a special episode of Ultima Lucha, a special episode of Lucha Underground, we're not gonna have one good from each of us this week. Guess what? We're gonna have two, motherfucker, because I think it's gonna be hard to think of a bads. But Eamon, what is your first bueno from Ultima Lucha?
My first and really my ultimate bueno. There's a lot of good stuff on this show, but for me, this was the one I've been thinking about ever since it happened, and that is Cero Miedo.
Yes.
I never imagined. I think if you look back at old midweek wars, there was a prospect of there being a big blow up match with Vampiro making his return. I remember we used to groan about it. Mm-hmm. And we used to be like, oh, we really don't want to see that. Good God, this match was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when we first had the idea of Vampiro wrestling, I remember this because I was the one that said it. We all thought it was going to be against Conan.
Yeah.
And now I'd kill for a tag team match with Pentagon and Vampiro versus Conan and Puma.
Well, keep in mind, and Brandon Shred pointed this out on Twitter, which is actually a really good point. Conan brought in Pentagon, technically, Lucha Underground, when he brought in all the Lucha guys.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting stuff with that. To describe this, I'm not a guy who's against deathmatch wrestling. I get that it's a style. However, I'm not really all that intrigued a lot by deathmatch wrestling because it's always like, I'm a badass. You're also a badass. Let's hit each other with stuff. Mm-hmm. This match told a story, and everything elevated, and it got Pentagon Jr. so fucking over. Like everyone loved Pentagon Jr., but now he looks like a legitimate killer. He looks like a madman. And it told such a beautiful story to where the violence that was involved in it was necessary and it was for a purpose. And I can't think of like two death matches that do that, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the only
at least in American death match.
The only match I can think that comes kind of close to this in terms of storytelling is Mick Foley and Edge at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I guess some of Mick Foley stuff and you know, Mick Foley would be the closest one. I don't even consider Mick Foley's. I mean, I consider his stuff in Japan more deathmatch. Like there's, I mean, obviously stuff would have like flaming tables and stuff like that. I would consider that more towards that level. But like light tubes and thumbtacks and fire and so much blood and it was just brutal.
Yeah.
And it was just so beautiful in a sense.
I mean, it was, and I mean, and the best part is that it was part of a plan. Like, it was
Yeah.
Vampiro's plan to get Pentagon to this point. Like, granted, I'm still not sure how the whole saving Sexy Star goes in with Pentagon being the master. I don't quite get that aspect of it.
I think from a case of maybe him having to sort of go further in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I'd have to remember what match it was where I was it the match where Sexy Star. Yeah, Sexy Star had beaten him.
Yeah,
and Pentagon did it. So maybe it was a case of something involving that.
I also can think of is that maybe, like, even though Vampiro is the master, like, at the time it was Ian protecting his daughter's favorite wrestler.
True.
That's the only thing I'm thinking of.
I think it is a case of Ian and Vampiro being sort of two separate things that are being drawn in two different directions.
Yeah, like a Harvey Dent Two-Face kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like this match was also the one where it's like Vampiro's back to being Vampiro.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was so brutal. The when Vampiro gets hit with the first like light 2 bundle, and the camera like stays on him, and he just gets hit, and he's just plain faced, but then you can see the blood forming. It is the grossest / coolest thing you can ever think of.
Yeah.
Him getting set on fire.
Oh my god! When he rolled around, like, because if you see a flaming table spot in WWE, that fire goes out quick. Yeah. That fire goes out as soon as the impact on the table is made. Not this case. Vampiro was still on fire as he was rolling away, and Jesus. Jesus.
And the image of just the image of Pentagon bleeding like crazy with his mask like ripped to shreds.
Yeah, when he tore the mask, I'm like, oh, shit is on. It's fucking on right now. It was so good.
But it made Pentagon feel like a bigger deal now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I when season 2 comes, I know Mil Muertes is the champion. Spoiler alert! I mean, if you're watching the recap, you already probably got spoiled. Yeah. And I know Fenix has the Gift of the Gods title, and I know that those two have a big history with each other. But Pentagon's got to be the next guy. Like, Pentagon's got to be the next. Like, this is the guy that runs season 2.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with it because. And we'll get to this. We'll move on. We'll move on. I'll get to it because there's a lot to unpack.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot to unpack. My first bueno is Johnny Mundo. Johnny Mundo and Melina.
That was literally such a surprise.
That was amazing. That was amazing to me because, granted, the post-match stuff was what it was, very standard WWE type fare, but to have Melina come out completely unexpected and help Johnny Mundo win, which I think is the right call. There were a lot of heels winning tonight.
There were, yeah.
There were a lot of heels winning.
I think the only face that won was Fenix.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta give it to Lucha Underground. They do not take you in the expected direction.
Yeah.
A lot of times. And but the match with Patron and Mundo was great. I love Johnny. I've said it before. I love Johnny's new heel style of wrestling, and the fact that they took it back over to Dario's office and threw him through the window of the door.
Yeah,
that was great. That was really
and covered
really
in blood afterwards. It was really like such a gruesome image.
Oh yeah.
I know some people were kind of on the fence about some of the ending stuff, like with Melina, like with Alberto and Melina. I like it because the commentary did a great job of like Alberto is a face in the sense the crowd loves him, but he's just as cocky and he's just as arrogant and he's just as much of a dickhead as Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
But just the crowd loves him.
Yeah, it's almost like Alberto was taking it out because he got out, like he lost a game of chess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was, and that's really such a hot opener. Such a hot opener. Like, it wasn't as good as last week's one with Cage and the Mac, but still, great way to open Ultima Lucha.
Definitely.
In a night where we're going to get a lot of like hardcore spots and stuff like that, just a solid wrestling match from those two guys. That's the best way to open it.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Absolutely.
Eamon, what is your second bueno?
My second bueno for this week's Ultima Lucha would be the Gift of the God 7-Way. I think it was a great showcase of all 7 guys, or 6 guys and 1 girl. 5 guys, 1 girl, 1 tiger. Sorry.
Coming soon to ABC, 5 guys, 1 girl, 1 tiger.
It'll be such a hit. I said before that I want Pentagon to be like the next guy for season 2. Aerostar is fucking phenomenal, and I'm loving Aerostar every single week.
That dive. I don't even know how he got up there. I don't know when he got up there. I assume he had a jetpack like he did at the end of the show, and we just didn't see it.
He's from space, dude. It's amazing.
He is from space. He is a guardian of the galaxy, I guess. Yeah, that 7-way match was ridiculous. It started off a little slow, and I think once everyone got their rhythm, and it was interesting to see how some people got taken out, like Big Rick got taken out by Daivari.
Yeah, which I wasn't completely sold on. I feel like there was a promo missing that like set that up.
Oh no! But did you notice what Daivari said when he got in the ring?
No.
Okay, all right. And this is one of my favorite parts of that match. Daivari had the chair in his hand, and Big Rick was bent over. Daivari just screams, "You're fired!" and smashes him in the brain with it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I must have missed that part. But that is great.
It was so fun. I'm like, because Daivari, he's never really fit in Lucha Underground, but that was probably his best moment of the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. And then the stuff with Sexy Star and the Moth. Don't want to go too far ahead into the last segment, but everyone you get such character development at the end for Marty, and people are like, oh, he's tied up Sexy Star and he's kidnapped her. People glossed over the fact that he tied her into a cocoon.
I am such a mark for Marty the Moth.
He's gonna make her a butterfly, and that's the weirdest thing. And I'm so interested in the Moth now. I mean, I was before, but I'm so much more now. God, it was really great. It was
Marty
such
the
a
Moth
surprise.
is my everything. Marty the Moth is my everything. And I was wondering because Big Rick got taken out by Daivari. We saw that on camera. We didn't see what happened with Sexy Star, and I was wondering where she was at the finish. And the fact that they answered that was fantastic to me. I'm like, oh, because I would have loved to see Sexy Star win the Gift of the Gods. I understand why she didn't, especially now we have we got next level championship. There's definitely a tier. There's a separation. But my second bueno is the era of death.
Yes,
the era of death. They are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They hold all the gold. And by the way, someone needs to steal that because you can have it.
By the way, if they're the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, that is one sexy ass JJ Dillon.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, Mil Muertes and Prince Puma put on a fucking baller ass match. It was ridiculous, some of the stuff that they were pulling out. But Eamon, I think you'll agree with me. The best part was that finish that literally shook the foundation of the temple.
Oh yeah, the camera work on it was great. It was really phenomenal. I heard some people talk about how the idea of them kicking out of each other's finishers. I actually thought it made sense, especially with Muertes.
Yeah, I don't mind that if it's not done that often.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Ring of Honor. Excuse me,
Yeah.
I have a little cough there.
Like Muertes has the idea that he has the stone that's giving him power. So yeah, he may he'll be able to kick out of a 450. And I think the one kick out, the first flatliner that Puma kicked out of, it worked because Puma is a fighter, and he has company, so it does mean something for him to kick out that way. But once the top rope flatliner got hit, like yeah, it's done. Like it's
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. Puma's an amazing wrestler, but his selling as well. Like the first flatliner, how he fucking just landed on his neck.
Mm-hmm.
God, it was really really phenomenal.
Just if you aren't watching Lucha by now, why? Tell me why, because you're wrong. And if you say you don't have the channel, find it.
Figure it out.
Find it on the internet. It is worth your time to look for this online. But yeah, so we have Mil Muertes as the Lucha Underground champion now. The Disciples of Death are the trios champions. Eamon, this occurred to me earlier this afternoon, and I want to get your take on it. What did Dario Cueto say at that the 7 medallions gave the person who held them?
That gave them immortality.
We're gonna get immortality versus death.
It's really,
and even more so. Like before, we had 1,000 lives and 1,000,000 deaths. Now we have immortality versus death personified.
And keep in mind, this is phenomenal cases of symbolism, as opposed to in TNA when Drew Galloway keeps yelling for Eli Drake to stand up or whatever. Like that's the difference. You know what I mean? Like it's subtleties and stuff like that. Like that really guide this show, I feel.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, Eamon, I know it's gonna be difficult for us. We'll get into the ending sequence after we finish. Our Malo and our Cambio. But Eamon, if you had to pick a Malo for this week's Ultima Lucha, what would it be?
Unfortunately, as much as I kind of liked how I personally kind of liked how he kind of handled the whole situation. My Malo is the Blue Demon Jr. Tejano match. Just from the fact I felt it was too short.
Okay.
I felt like there should have been more of a match, and then what happened at the end.
Okay.
I get why people were like, why is Chavo and Blue Demon together? But I think they are selling the fact that Chavo is like getting in his head about how.
To be fair, the announcers, as far as we know, have not seen the backstage segments we've seen.
That's true as well. But they really did. But the announcers also did a really good job of selling the fact that Blue Demon was put off by the fact that Tejano claiming that he was Mexico and all that stuff, and they really did put over the family, the Guerrero, the Blue Demon, sort of family lineage and how important that played. So overall, I like how it ended. It was very clear that this was a case of, well, Chavo got injured, so they had to come up with something else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for because I'm sure they had a very limited time frame between Chavo's injury and, oh man, we have to wrap this up somehow.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. But overall, I think they did a decent job with it, but I would have wanted a bit of a longer match.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't bad about that segment. Those new suits for the crew.
Those damn suits.
Looking sharp, gentlemen. Looking damn sharp. In those shoes.
If only Bale was still around to have one of those suits.
Oh, he has a body bag with a tie on it. Me Malo this week, and I don't know what you think of it, Eamon, but Michael Schiavello.
Here's my thing with him. I appreciate what he was trying to go for. I kind of liked his voice in a sense because he was Australian and brought that kind of like sport kind of flair to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Matt Striker should have sat down before the show and kind of developed a bit more of a game plan.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the beginning you could tell Striker, who's normally the play-by-play guy, was getting overtaken because his stuff was mostly play-by-play, and Stryker kind of had to take over the color in a sense.
This seemed like one of those Impact episodes where you have Josh and Jeremy Borash on the announce team. Like, it's two guys who are used to doing the same thing. They have different voices, obviously, but they're both used to telling the same side of the story. And if Vampiro is going to be the master full time, I think we really need to look into getting someone better on commentary.
Yeah, I don't think it should be a permanent thing. Obviously, with Vampiro out, they'll have to find someone else. I think for this episode, though, I would have loved. I know it's a difficult thing to do. I would have loved Matt Stryker doing it on his own.
I feel like he would have been able.
I feel like he would have been able to. Because Matt Stryker does some dumb stuff, yeah, but overall, I like his commentary. Like, I feel like he does an amazing job of telling a story. I would have loved to see him go it alone, just to see what it would be like.
Yeah, I mean, but calling a 2-hour pay-per-view, I guess that would be difficult for Stryker, and plus it would make it feel like more of a full 3-hour show if Vampiro just left to get ready for his match, and then Stryker was left alone. It kind of separated a little bit more for me, and I don't know. I just didn't. He didn't seem like he knew the product as well as Stryker did, and it felt like he was kind of getting in the way of some of the reactions.
There's some stuff where I feel like if he was just briefed better, he would have done fine. Like some of the story, some of the story plot point stuff. Like, if he was just briefed a little bit better, he would have known when to kind of like dial it back.
Yeah,
on certain moments.
Because especially the Vampiro reveal should have been one of those like one of the hushed moments, like, oh my god, like that. Yeah, but I mean,
there is an art to letting the action speak for itself. I feel like it's something I want to see him in season 2, and I want to see him just come in with a better game plan.
Yeah, if it wouldn't have made sense storyline wise, I would have loved to see Conan with Matt Stryker.
That's true. Oh, but like I said, like, I liked his voice. Like, I liked that Australian kind of sport style, kind of like it's soccer, almost like he sounded like a soccer announcer in a sense. Like, I kind of like that aspect of it. Okay. But overall, yeah.
All right. Now, Eamon, I know this is gonna be difficult because we both really enjoyed the show. Obviously, what will be your one combo this week?
My combo is solely from and it's a selfish combo. I would have loved a 3-hour Ultima Lucha. I would have loved if they didn't break it up into 2 weeks. I feel like it would have also softened the blow of the Blue Demon Tejano match a bit.
Okay.
If we had like 7 amazing, like 7 amazing matches instead of 4 amazing matches. I think that would have benefited a bit. But hey, I mean, I'm still so content with this. Like, this was phenomenal.
Okay. My combo is we didn't get the payoff I wanted. We like all the backstage segments, and we haven't even talked about them yet. They were fantastic. They told a very fluid story with El Dragon Azteca getting killed, on yet another person dying in Lucha Underground. But it never translated to a reveal. Like, and I'm sure that's probably the hook for season 2, and I get that. But I wanted something. I wanted a little, and it's a selfish change.
You wanted to see more Metanza.
I wanted to see Metanza. I wanted to see, for this being his biggest show of the year, Dario Cueto was not in the temple.
Yeah, that's true.
And that kind of bothered me a little bit because he's been the best part of Lucha Underground, in my opinion. The best part. And for him not to be like, even Vince McMahon said, "Welcome to WrestleMania." Like, I needed Dario Cueto there to say, "Welcome to Ultima Lucha," or to just maybe like he hears some commotion in the back or something like that. I don't know. Like, even if he just comes out to introduce Ultima Lucha and he gets attacked by El Dragon Azteca or something, like, I don't know. I want those to translate into the in-ring product.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like that is sort of an interesting thing with Lucha because you have I don't know who El Dragon Azteca is. I know the woman who plays Black Lotus isn't necessarily a wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd be interested to see. Like I think it was a case of it'd be interesting to see how you could do that in an in-ring environment with someone who isn't necessarily a wrestler. Because you can have backstage, you can film these like scenes where she's beating up people or whatever because she's an actress or whatever. But I think how you translate that in the ring is another thing. Because even Dario is slightly different whenever he's on screen in the ring
Oh yeah,
to when he is
absolutely.
backstage. Just because you're doing it in two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, in the segments, in the backstage segments, he's a film actor.
yeah,
When he's on stage, he's a Broadway actor. Like, you can tell he's got some training. He may not do Broadway, I don't know, but you can tell he's projecting as opposed to internalizing things, which Dario's really good at internalizing things in the segments.
yeah, definitely.
All right. So before we delve into anything we may have missed, um after Lucha Underground ended, as you know, if you're a loyal fan of Lucha Underground, they have taken the Marvel method of ending their television shows and they put stuff after the credits. Now, Eamon, last night I freaked out so much about this that I literally broke down every segment that we had. So we're gonna go through each and every segment and we're gonna give our thoughts on it. Because this is the last time we're gonna see Lucha Underground for a while, but they're giving us clear directions on where everyone is going.
Yeah.
All right, so first we go to Dario, and he's cleaning out the cash in his office. He's taking everything down. He grabbed his red beetle, and he left and said he had to go build a new temple with Black Lotus riding shotgun in a Rolls Royce and Metanza in a horse trailer that he's already chewing through.
Yeah.
Um, that's amazing.
And I mean, just that alone, like it's really like and there's such an urgency to it. Like it felt like such a like you were on the edge of your seat watching it because it was just so like there's so high paced when
Yeah,
it came
like,
to like the escape.
and like he was even saying like dark times are coming. Like, he saw Mil Muertes win. He's like, oh, we gotta get the fuck out of here. We
Right.
got to go. All right. So the next one is Fenix with his Gift of the Gods championship belt, just ending 80s movie style, leaving the temple in a Firebird.
Like a boss.
Like a fucking boss. And just, and anyone who knows Robert Rodriguez knows he's a car guy. That's clearly a Robert Rodriguez shot.
Yeah.
That's very, like, if he happened to have Machete riding shotgun with him, I would not have been surprised.
Definitely.
All right. Let's see. Did I get all of them? Oh, I think I missed.
Because also he was as he left the building. Also, he was followed in a pickup truck. But some people said it was Tejano. I don't think it was Tejano. Some people said it was King Cuerno, and I think King Cuerno makes a bit more sense.
King Cuerno does make a little bit more sense, but I think we might Matt Carlin's just contacted me, so I think he might actually be available to join us.
Oh, let's see if we can get Mr. Carlin's in here.
Yes. So I just sent him an invite to see if he can join us for the final breakdown of Lucha Underground.
Because we did see. I do miss the days of Cowboy King Cuerno.
Well, he was in his cowboy outfit, which he looks damn bossin'. He looks super bossin'. But we also had the trios team. The Team Disfunct Trios is what I've called them because I love that name. We got I'm blanking on his name. Angelico. He leaves on a motocross bike. And
of course, yes.
He says, "Don't worry, we're gonna get those titles back." And you can't help but believe him because it was a 3-on-2 advantage. 3-on-2, technically 4-on-2. Technically. And then Ivelisse is already riding her motorcycle, and Son of Havoc, ever the bitch, is told to sit in back of Ivelisse as she drives off on the motorcycle.
Keep in mind, Ivelisse, in theory, also still has her broken foot.
Yes.
So she's driving a motorcycle on her broken foot, and isn't going to let Son of Havoc do anything.
I'm totally okay with that because it kind of... All right, now is it just me? Do you think we're getting them as a couple again? Or is it just going to be a moonlighting thing?
It seems that they are very friendly. They're much more. All three of them are much more friendly now. So it could be that the Son of Havoc Ivelisse relationship gets resparked, or it's just a case of all three of them are now finally on the same page.
Okay. I mean, either way, I'm good with it, regardless of what they do. Now I believe this is where we had Pentagon and his master Vampiro. And oh god, like Pentagon asking, "Where are we going now, master?" And Vampiro just responds, "To a much darker place,"
which terrifies me.
Yes, absolutely. Like
they lit a dude on fire in this episode.
It looks like they're about to restart the Dungeon of Doom, only this time for realsies. Like, like it was amazing. Like they were clouded in smoke. They may be heading to hell. They may be heading to Transylvania. I don't know where they're going. I'm excited for it. I think they're heading for gold. I think that's what they want to do.
I hope so, yeah.
Because I could see maybe you get a Puma versus Pentagon for the Gift of the Gods.
With Conan and Vampiro in each corner.
Exactly. And then maybe once Puma conquers a giant skeleton ninja, he can go after... Oh, not Puma. I'm saying Puma. Fenix.
Mm-hmm.
You can get Pentagon and Fenix for the Gift of the Gods, or you...
Okay.
I don't know. There's so many ways to go. It's going to be exciting no matter what. When is season 2? We need it now. We need it right effing now. Like, seriously. You know I'm being serious when I don't say the word fucking and I say effing. All right. Anyway, this was all... It was all in quick bursts, too. And then we get to Mario the Moth, which you already alluded to.
Yes.
He's got Sexy Star tied up in a cocoon, in a broom closet. He's cutting a promo like the Joker, which is amazing.
Yeah, which was really well done too. We've established this is a guy that was on like the whatever was the last season of Tough Enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit, how they let this guy slip through them. Like, I have no idea.
I thought he was the guy that got injured, though.
He may have been. I
think him and Ivelisse were both injured in that season.
Yeah,
but
even still, like keep a hold of that dude, because God.
Yeah, but he cut like a really dark, creepy promo. Like, we're going places in Lucha Underground, and
because that's the thing. That's the thing with Marty the Moth was that for forever he was just like, oh, it's a wet weird guy. He thinks he's a moth. How funny is that?
And he
And then
doesn't know
it
how
just
moths
turns.
flap their wings.
Yeah, and then,
So,
then it just turns on an instant, and he's a fucking psychopath.
and
Like I love that so much.
Eamon, he has a sister.
He has a sister, apparently.
I'm so excited. I want to know who this sister is. I want her to be dressed like a butterfly. I want her to be a lucha butterfly. All right. And I believe the the penultimate scene is we get Drago and Aerostar, former rivals, shaking hands, and then each flying away from the temple because one's a dragon and the other is fucking Iron Man.
Yes.
I mean, am I wrong about this?
That.
Like we saw we've seen Drago fly away before with a burst of fire, but Aerostar, there were sparks and he just shot up into the air.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's just gold. And then finally we see the white hooded gentleman, not the guy wearing a white sweatshirt with a hood on it.
Yes.
Yes, I said that completely wrong. This is not the
Lucha Underground takes a turn. Get the Mac out of here.
It took a turn right at the end. This guy killed the Mac. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding. He's actually Hulk Hogan. I'm kidding. Also kidding. He found El Dragon Azteca's mask, and he decided to put it on. And he ended the series by spray painting a question mark over the Lucha Underground sign. And I didn't think of this until I read Brandon's best and worst, but is that a Rey Mysterio bat signal?
Oh, that's a good point.
I had never even considered that. I just assumed like, what's next for Lucha Underground? But making that a Rey Mysterio bat signal makes all the sense in the world.
It really does, yeah.
And then you have Dario walking out of the temple slowly as the lights fade away. And fucking A, man. When is season 2?
Needs to happen now.
Yeah. So Eamon, where did you rank Ultima Lucha this week?
See, I don't know. You see, I'm kidding. It's number 1. It's absolutely number 1.
Number 1 with a flaming Vampiro through a table.
Yeah, and it's going to be future midweek wars. I'm going to have to challenge myself now as far as naming a number 1. But no, Lucha has just been so fun, and I've been so happy with the way that it's made me sort of reanalyze professional wrestling. And then they really have given us the alternative.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been wondering forever now, ever since basically WCW folded up, what's the new alternative? Because ROH tried to be something different and hasn't really worked. TNA tried to be WWE Light, hasn't really worked. But this, like, they're treating it like Breaking Bad, like Game of Thrones. Like, you're getting in-depth storylines. Like, you're not treating your viewers like idiots. This is the way to do it. This is the alternative. This is the one. This is the thing we've been clamoring for years. It's
absolutely.
I mean, it's not without its flaws, obviously, but it's definitely the direction everyone should be looking at.
I have to agree.
Yeah,
100%.
Eamon, before we wrap this up, was there anything else that you want to talk about Ultima Lucha we didn't cover? I think we got pretty much everything, but
I think we did. Yeah, there was a lot of really fun stuff on this show. Me and Mike have been talking. We're hoping of getting the chance in the future to get everyone here on the show and do a big sort of season 1 a love session, I guess you could say.
An Ultima wrap-up, if you will.
Yes, where we just talk about all the stuff we loved about Lucha Underground. Because this is, I mean, that's the thing. It's more than just a good wrestling show. It's something that it makes us passionate, I think, in a sense. You know what I mean? It really sort of I savor watching that show constantly. Like it's something beyond just a wrestling show.
Yeah, it's priority viewing. It's
Mm-hmm.
for the first time in a long time wrestling that is priority viewing. That's scheduled appointment viewing. Lucha Underground's that easily.
Definitely.
All right. So Eamon, I know we've gone way too long here. We probably can't even post this one to Facebook. But
Sorg hates us right
yeah,
now, but I don't care.
Sorg understands. It's fine. Where can the people on the internet find you, Eamon?
They can find me on Twitter at Aimon2Please. You can find Inspire Pro Wrestling at Inspire Pro Res. You can find Lucha Underground, more importantly, at Lucha El Rey. Send them messages and keep telling them to bring back season 2 and do anything you can to support this company because they deserve your support.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tweet them every day asking where season 2 is. And I'm not joking about that. Krista Joseph is going to get really annoyed of my daily tweets. But you can find me at MadMike4883 on the Twitters. For all things Wrestling Mayhem, go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com, SwordTrimedia.com. We broadcast every Tuesday night. And yeah, so thank you, Lucha Underground. Thank you very much for this wonderful season of just amazingness and showing us how awesome wrestling really can be if you allow to bring your viewers into that world. And so for Eamon, this is Mad Mike, and this has been the Midweek War.